The silence from the unknown ship grew heavy. Fear filled the soldiers' hearts and the people's minds. Everyone was worried about what might happen. Some said the ship was a monster, a creature made by an ancient race. Some said it was a powerful army from a place we do not know. The leaders tried to stay calm, but their voices trembled when they gave orders. The soldiers tightened their grip on their weapons, wondering if today might be their last. Across the galaxy, messages of panic started to reach the nearby planets. The people begged their governments for help. The soldiers called their friends and families to say goodbye. Some made promises to come back alive. Some said prayers quietly under their breath. All the while, the unknown ship stayed there, a silent shadow in space, a danger nobody could ignore. Inside the main base, the Empire's greatest minds came together to find a way forward. Scientists, generals, engineers, all tried their best to solve the growing mystery. They studied the signals, the small data they had, but there were no answers. All their knowledge fell short in the face of something that was completely different from anything they had ever faced before. Some soldiers volunteered to attack first, thinking maybe a strong attack might destroy or drive away whatever was in the ship. The generals held a heavy meeting and decided it was worth a try. All their battle cruisers were powered up. Their soldiers were placed in battle formations, and their weapons were made ready. The moment to attack was close, but there was a heavy feeling in everyone's hearts, a feeling that whatever they do might not be enough. The soldiers opened fire. Large blasts of energy, strong enough to destroy planets, fell upon the unknown ship. The base's screens glowed with fire. The soldiers cheered quietly, thinking for a moment that their attack might destroy the danger. But then the blasts fell away, and the ship remained unharmed, without a single scar. All their attacks had made no difference. Panic grew greater. Fear turned into chaos. Some soldiers fell to their knees, crying quietly. Some turned and tried to escape, boarding small ships in a desperate attempt to flee. The people begged their leaders for peace. Please, do something. We cannot destroy it. We cannot win this battle. We must save ourselves. We must avoid death. The soldiers tried their best to keep their formations strong, but fear gnawed at their discipline. Inside the main base, the leaders fell into silence once again. All their plans had failed. All their attacks had been useless. All their messages were gone, and their soldiers kept disappearing without a trail. The unknown ship stayed there quietly, unharmed, and the galaxy fell into a deep silence, a silence filled with fear. The people whispered quietly, wondering what fate was waiting for them. The soldiers prepared their defenses. The leaders hoped against all hope that something, a small chance, a hidden weakness, might yet save them. But deep down, many believed the Empire was already defeated by something greater, something that it could not destroy. Inside the main base, the leaders fell into a heavy silence. Fear gnawed at their hearts. All their attacks had failed, and their soldiers kept disappearing without a word. The people begged for help, for peace, for a way to be safe. Some soldiers began to lose hope. Some said there was no chance left, that the Empire was already defeated by something greater, something we do not yet know or understand. The generals decided they had to try something different. Instead of sending soldiers directly toward the ship, they chose a small team of brave soldiers, the best soldiers in their army, to sneak close and gather information. This team was made up of soldiers who had faced danger many times before. They were tough, skilled, and without fear. Or at least that's what everyone hoped. The team boarded a small ship and slowly made its way toward the unknown ship. They turned off all their lights. They kept their signals silent. The soldiers held their breaths. Each moment felt heavy. Each moment might be their last. The small ship glided forward quietly, much like a shadow in space. The soldiers turned their camera toward the unknown ship, looking for a way in, a weak spot, a hole, a place where they might learn its secrets. As they drew close, something strange happened. The small ship's controls started to fade. The power fell, the engines grew weak, and then everything went silent. The soldiers tried their best to restart their ship, but it was useless. All their equipment was failing. All their messages fell silent. The soldiers fell into a deep, awful silence. The last view their camera captured was a vast metal wall, shimmering faintly, and then everything went black. The small team was gone, just like all the soldiers before them. The people back home fell into panic. The soldiers grew more nervous. Some tried to convince their leaders to destroy the ship with a massive attack. Others begged their leaders to wait, to avoid adding more soldiers to the growing list of the missing. The generals fell into an even greater silence, wondering what might come in the future. Fear gnawed at their hearts. The unknown ship remained, quietly, boldly, without a care for the growing chaos in the empire. All the soldiers, the people, and the leaders began to realize that their greatest danger might come not from their own weaknesses, but from something much greater, something that seemed to be unhindered by their attacks or their defenses. The galaxy fell into a deep silence, wondering what would happen when the unknown ship made its move. The soldiers grew more nervous with each passing moment. The people begged their leaders to do something, anything, to save them from whatever was waiting in that huge, silent ship. Some soldiers whispered quietly to each other, wondering if they would ever see their families again. Some made promises to their children, promises that might soon be impossible to keep. Fear gnawed at the hearts of everyone in the empire. The soldiers tightened their grip on their weapons, and the people fell into silence. Not a calm silence, but a heavy, nervous silence. A silence that seemed to press down on their souls. Inside the main base, the generals fell into deep debate. Some wanted to launch their last attack, to destroy the unknown ship with all their firepower, but many more believed it would be useless. All their attacks had failed. All their soldiers had gone missing. All their messages fell silent. The generals were unsure whether there was anything left for them to do. Fear gnawed at their confidence. The people demanded a way forward. The soldiers wanted a chance to redeem their friends, their comrades, but there seemed to be none. Then something strange happened. The unknown ship began to move. The soldiers fell back to their defenses. The people screamed quietly in their homes. The ship slowly turned, its massive form shifting gracefully in space. All at once, a piercing ray of orange light fell upon a nearby cruiser. The cruiser fell silent. All its signals disappeared. The soldiers tried to reach their friends on the cruiser, but there was no answer. The ship was gone, just gone, without a trail or a wreck. Fear grew greater with each moment. Some soldiers tried to attack the ship, but their blasts fell away uselessly. The ship didn't even seem to care. The soldiers fell back, wondering what would come next. All the people kept their children close, praying quietly for a way to survive whatever was to come. The generals fell into silence. All their plans had failed. All their defenses were useless. The unknown ship was a danger greater than anything the Empire had ever faced. Then a strange message appeared across all the Empire's signals. The message was not in their language, not in their code, but something much older, much more powerful. Some say it was a message from another galaxy, a warning, or a sentence. The soldiers grew weak in their knees. The people fell to their knees, wondering if the end was near. Fear gnawed at their hearts. All their defenses were gone. All their soldiers were powerless. All their ships were at the mercy of something greater, something we do not yet know or comprehend, a danger that might destroy them all. Inside the main base, the silence was heavy, a silence filled with fear and panic. The soldiers didn't know what to do. The people fell to their knees, praying quietly for their safety. The generals stayed hunched over their maps, their messages, their data, looking for a way forward. All their defenses had failed. All their soldiers had disappeared. All their ships were powerless against whatever was inside the unknown ship. Fear gnawed at their hearts. The people grew weak with worry, wondering if there was any hope left for their future. Then something happened. Something nobody expected. The unknown ship began to glow faintly. The orange lines that crossed its surface grew a little bit brighter. The soldiers fell back in alarm. Some raised their weapons, some turned to flee, but there was no place to hide. The people fell silent, unsure if their last moment had come. A deep vibration filled the base. The soldiers felt it through their feet. The people felt it in their chests. The base's power faltered. The lights grew dim, then fell into total darkness. All communication was cut off. The soldiers turned to each other in silence, wondering if this was the end. The people held their children close, tears falling quietly down their cheeks. Fear gnawed at their souls. Then, just as everything seemed to break down, something new appeared. A small light fell from the unknown ship, a ball of pure orange energy. It fell slowly toward the main base. The soldiers tried to destroy it with their weapons, but their blasts passed right through it, as if it were a ghost. The ball kept falling, unhindered by their attacks. All the soldiers fell back in awe. All the people fell silent in fear. The generals pressed against their screens, trying to learn its purpose, but there was no answer. When the ball of energy reached the main base, it paused just above the command center. A voice was heard, not a human voice, not a machine voice, but something greater. The voice seemed to speak directly into the minds of everyone there, soldiers, people, and generals alike. The message was simple but heavy with power. Your fate is not yours to control. We come to redeem or destroy. Prepare for what comes. The soldiers tightened their grip on their weapons. The people fell to their knees. The generals turned to each other with nervous glances. All were unsure whether this meant their future was about to be erased or reborn. The orange ball glowed faintly above them, a silent sign that the greatest moment in their history was soon to come. Across the galaxy, a powerful empire ruled many planets. Everyone was afraid of its soldiers and its ships. The soldiers kept peace by force, and the people obeyed without asking questions. The empire was strong. The empire was proud. The empire was not afraid of anything. But then something strange happened, something nobody expected. One day, a huge, unknown spaceship appeared near the empire's main base. The soldiers saw it first on their radar. They tried to send messages to it, but there was only silence. The ship did not answer back. Fear slowly started to grow in the soldiers' hearts as the unknown ship stayed there quietly, without attack or movement. The soldiers turned to their leaders for guidance, but the leaders were worried too. Was this a new danger? Was there something out there that even the Empire could not destroy? The ship was big, much bigger than the Empire's strongest cruiser. It was a dark shape against the purple clouds of space. Some soldiers said it glowed faintly with orange and gold lines, a kind of strange power that nobody had ever seen before. Some said there was something alive inside it, something that was not from their galaxy. The soldiers kept their weapons ready. The people kept their children close. Everyone was afraid. The silence was heavy, the kind of silence that happens before a big storm. The Empire's leaders met in their war room. They tried to figure out what to do. Should they attack first? Should they wait? Should they try again to make peace? The generals were nervous. The soldiers wanted action. The people demanded protection. Fear was spreading. Some planets fell into chaos as word of the unknown ship passed from one world to another. The soldiers tried to move forward a small ship to gather more information. But when the small ship got close, its signals went silent. All communication was gone. The soldiers never came back. The people began to panic. Where are our soldiers? What happened to them? The leaders did not know. All they knew was that something was not right. The unknown ship stayed in its place, quietly, without a word, while their soldiers disappeared. Some said a new war was about to start. Some said the Empire might soon fall. The people whispered about the danger. The soldiers grew nervous and afraid. The unknown ship remained there, a silent threat, a dark shadow over their future. The Empire tried everything. They turned their greatest weapons toward it. They powered up their strongest ships. But the unknown ship stayed unharmed, as if it was made of something that their weapons could not destroy. Inside the Empire's main base, the leaders fell into a deep silence. All their plans had failed. All their messages were ignored. All their soldiers were gone without a trace. Fear gnawed at their hearts. What if this ship meant the end for their empire? What if the greatest power in the galaxy was powerless? The people begged their leaders for a way forward. Some said to attack anyway, to destroy whatever was there before it destroyed them. Others said to wait, to be careful and not make a big mess. The soldiers grew more worried, wondering if their own lives were in danger. The galaxy fell into a nervous silence. All eyes turned toward the unknown ship, the ship that had come without warning, stayed without a word, and held the fate of the Empire in its grip. The Empire had faced many wars and many struggles, but this was different. This was something new, something nobody was ready for. The soldiers tightened their grip on their weapons, the people held their children close, and the leaders whispered quietly in their hearts, "What will happen now? Will we survive, or will we be destroyed by something we do not even understand?" The answer was a mystery that kept everyone afraid, unsure, and wondering what the future might bring. The unknown ship stayed near the Empire's main base, silent and still, like a dark shadow in space. The soldiers kept their weapons ready, but their hands trembled as they held them. The people stayed inside their homes, afraid to come out. Fear was growing in everyone's heart. Some soldiers were ordered to move forward and see if there was a way to learn more about the ship. They slowly flew a small team of ships toward it. The soldiers turned on their sensors and tried to scan the ship, but the signals came back empty. All their equipment fell silent, as if something was blocking their view. The soldiers grew nervous. Some whispered, "Maybe we are not meant to know what's there. Maybe we should wait. Maybe we should be careful." But the leaders demanded more information. They wanted to know their danger. The soldiers decided to move in a circle around the ship. They kept their distance, but tried to observe every corner of it. The ship was much bigger than their own. The metal surface glowed, faintly with strange orange lines. Some soldiers said they saw something move, something alive, deep within its hull. The soldiers turned their cameras toward it, but the signals grew weak, then fell silent. All the soldiers' messages back to the base stopped. The soldiers were gone, just like the first team. Without a word, without a trail, they disappeared into the unknown. Panic started to grow. The people begged their leaders to do something. The soldiers grew afraid to follow orders. Some said there might be a monster inside the ship, something not made by ordinary creatures. Some said there might be an army, a powerful army, waiting to attack. The leaders fell into a deep silence, unsure of their own choices. Fear gnawed at their hearts. What if whatever was in the ship was something that could destroy the entire empire? Some soldiers tried to send a distress call to nearby planets, asking for help. But their messages fell silent in space. The signals were gone. The galaxy grew quieter. The people turned their eyes toward the ship, wondering what it would do next. The soldiers kept their weapons trained on it, but their hands were shaky, their hearts heavy. Everyone knew that a showdown was close, a showdown that might determine the future of the Empire. All they could do was wait and see what happened. The orange ball of energy hovered above the main base, casting a faint glow over everything. The soldiers tightened their grip on their weapons, unsure if they would need them or if they were already powerless. The people fell to their knees, praying quietly, their voices shaky with fear. The generals exchanged nervous glances, wondering what their fate was. All the defenses were gone. All their soldiers had disappeared. All their ships were useless against whatever was within the unknown ship. Fear gnawed at their hearts. The people grew weak with worry. Then the ball of energy began to slowly grow. The orange glow grew much, much bigger until it filled the base with its light. The soldiers fell to their knees, unable to move. The people fell forward, their heads resting against the floor. The generals turned their eyes upward, wondering if their last moment was upon them. Then something amazing happened. The ball began to pulse, slowly, quietly, sending waves of warmth instead of destruction. The soldiers felt a rush of peace pass through their bodies. The people felt their fear fade, and a calm feeling fell upon their hearts. The generals whispered quietly to each other, "Maybe we have misunderstood what this is. Maybe we made a mess by reacting in fear." The orange ball glowed softly, growing just a little with each pulse. All the soldiers, the people, and the generals fell into a kind of deep peace, a moment of understanding, a moment when danger seemed to fade away. Then the ball slowly rose back toward the unknown ship, growing fainter and fainter until it was gone. The ship began to move, turning slowly in space and then fading away, just a shadow against the purple clouds, until it was gone completely. All fell into silence. The soldiers lowered their weapons. The people rose from their knees. The generals exchanged glances, a mixture of relief, awe, and understanding. The danger had passed, but something had been left in its wake, a feeling that something greater was at work, something much bigger than their wars or their struggles. The soldiers would remember this moment for the rest of their lives. The people would tell stories about it to their children and grandchildren. The generals would reconsider their decisions, wondering if there might be a way forward without fear, without conflict. The galaxy fell into a deep silence, a silence filled with the understanding that not everything is a threat, and not everything that is unknown is an enemy.